You know, there's a certain sound, a shredding, grinding sound, that just doesn't belong at 8 o'clock in the morning. I was still half asleep. My name's Jake. I was visiting my grandpa Eli at his place. I'm stumbling to the kitchen for coffee, and I hear it crash like splintering wood. I run to the porch and I just froze. There were 3 guys, bright orange vests, and they were tearing down my grandpa's fence, our fence with power saws. This fence, it wasn't just old, it was ancient. Grandpa Eli built it with his own hands. 40 years ago, it marked the line that's been on the county map since before this new fancy Whispering Pines HOA was even a thought. And then he walks up. We just called him Clipboard Carl. Carl, he struts. He's the HOA president. He struts onto our lawn like he owns it, holding his clipboard like it's, I don't know, a scepter. Morning, he says, all cheerful. Just clearing this up. This, structure violates neighborhood visual harmony standards. Visual harmony, I was seeing red. What the hell are you doing? This is private property! I look over, expecting Grandpa Eli to be just apocalyptic. And he's just sitting. He's sitting on the porch swing in his overalls, just watching, arms folded, calm, sipping his morning coffee. I was, Grandpa, they're destroying the fence. Aren't you gonna do something? He watched them. He watched them laugh and throw another piece of his fence into their truck, and he shook his head. Slow, Jake, he says, real quiet. Never interrupt a man while he's busy digging his own grave. I didn't get it. I was just fuming. The HOA crew, they thought he was weak. They laughed. One of them joked, guess the old man can't stop progress. Progress, they thought. Because they had a clipboard, they were immune. They finished. The entire fence line had just gone. Clipboard Carl. He struts back over, smug. He actually tapped his clipboard, sir, he says, trying to sound all official. We will be issuing a restoration fee for the removal of the unauthorized structure. He was going to charge us. For the crime he just committed, Grandpa Eli. He just nodded. He took another slow sip of his coffee. Interesting, he says, his voice just level. And, how do you plan on leaving? Carl just blinked, like the question that just bounced off his ego. He gestures behind him. The road, obviously. Grandpa Eli, he smiles. It wasn't a nice smile. It was the kind of smile that means the chessboard just flipped. My road, Grandpa says. They laughed. They genuinely laughed. One of the workers. The whole community connects through that road, old man. And Grandpa Eli, he reaches beside his chair and picks up this old leather folder. A folder I've seen my whole life. He unties the little string and he spreads a map out on the porch table. It's a survey, an old one, smells like time and law. He just taps the map. The county access road ends right there at the creek, he says. This land you're standing on is my parcel. That pasture you parked your trucks on is also my parcel. And that little bridge you drove over to get here, he taps it again. That, son, is my bridge. Carl, his laugh kinda died in his throat. I could see the gears grinding in his head, but HOA jurisdiction, he stammered. Grandpa Eli, he just chuckled. Son, you are fundamentally misunderstanding how property law works. You're trespassing. You have destroyed my structure, and you've done it on my land. Carl, he just huffed. This is ridiculous. He grabs his little radio. All right, team, pack it up. We're done here. He thought he could just leave, Grandpa. He just stood up, real slow. He walked back inside the house, and he came back out, holding 2 things. A, the silence. that fell. It was louder than the saws had been. Carl, his clipboard was just hanging by his side. He looked helpless. His authority just evaporated. You can't do this, he stammered. This is obstruction. Grandpa, he just sighed. He motioned to me. Jake, bring me the binder from the cabinet. He looked back at Carl. The one marked people who thought they were smart. I'm not joking. That cabinet exists. I brought the binder. Grandpa placed it on the table next to his property tax binder, next to the original subdivision easement agreement, which, by the way, didn't even list that road as public access till after Grandpa built the bridge himself. Carl, he's sweating. Now, we have landscaping compliance rights. He tried. Grandpa just lifted an eyebrow. Show me the statute that says an HOA can modify private structures without permission when supersede land titles. Silence. They had rules. Grandpa had law. Then this other Joe board member, a woman in sunglasses, she marched up on foot. She'd heard the radio chatter. Sir, this is unacceptable. You are obstructing community business. We will call the police. Grandpa just smiled. Good, he said. Saves me the call. 5 minutes later, sirens, 2 officers pulled up on the other side of the raised bridge. They got out. They looked at the destroyed fence. They looked at the raised bridge. They looked at the trapped HOA trucks, and I could just feel their internal sigh. They knew. This playbook, HOA screws around, finds out. Grandpa, he walked down to the bridge calmly. Morning, officers, he says. He hands them his binder, laminated, deed copies, survey maps, boundary plats, photos of the fence from last month, and a printed letter from the HOA threatening forced compliance. The cops, just read. Carl tried to speak first, pointing. He removed a required neighborhood boundary structure. An officer just raised an eyebrow at Carl. Sir, he says, his voice tired. Did your crew remove this fence? Carl, he froze. His voice just shrunk. It wasn't compliant. The officer, did the homeowner authorize the removal? Hey, we don't need homeowner permission for he couldn't finish the sentence, 'cause even he knew how stupid it sounded. The officer turned to Grandpa. Sir, your bridge? Grandpa, installed legally, 1974, maintained solely by me. County records confirm. Private access. They crossed onto my land to perform unauthorized destruction. The officer nodded. And that was it. Sir, the officer says to Carl, you are trespassing, and you have caused significant property damage. You are liable for repair costs and possibly civil penalties. Carl looked white. We need to leave, he muttered. After you fix the fence, Grandpa replied, just quiet, and pay for materials and sign a statement acknowledging you acted without authorization. We will sue. The sunglasses lady tried one last time. Grandpa just chuckled. Low, dangerous. Ma'am, he says, you cannot sue someone for enforcing their own property rights against your illegal actions, but you are welcome to try. Just make sure you can afford it. Reality just sank in. They were stuck legally, physically. So, under the watchful eye of the police, Carl had to make the call, and For the next 4 hours, the HOA patrol, the mighty Visual Harmony Squad, they rebuilt my grandpa's fence, plank by plank. The sound of their hammering was priceless, and the neighbors, oh, the neighbors, they gathered, they filmed the HOA's glory just crumbled into community comedy. Grandpa, he didn't move from his chair. He made them do it over twice. That board's not plumb. When they were finally done, Carl, his hand was shaking. He signed the acknowledgement, the confession. Then, and only then, did Grandpa slowly walk over and lower the bridge. Go, he said. They fled. They didn't look back. The next morning, a letter arrived. Official. Legal. An apology from the HOA's lawyers admitting unapproved alteration of private residential property. Grandpa just pinned it to the fridge like a trophy. And the next HOA meeting, he walked in. The room just froze. He proposed a new community policy. No property modification without written homeowner consent. They voted unanimously faster than they ever passed any landscaping rule. They never bothered us again. The legend of Grandpa's bridge, it spread. People, they learned the hard way. Power, it isn't loud authority. It isn't a clipboard. And if you think you can bully a man who owns the law and built the bridge with his own hands, well, you're eventually gonna find yourself trapped with no way back except rebuilding exactly what you broke. So I gotta ask, what is a real community? Is it rules and visual harmony? Or is it knowing exactly where your line is and never, ever letting anyone cross it? Let me know what you think.